The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WZWA Network, and welcome to our review show here of WWE Elimination Chamber 2023 from the Bell Centre in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, in front of 17,271 fans, sold out, baby. And it also marked the first major WWE event to be held in Montreal since Breaking Point in September 2009. Fun fact, I'm Karlifornia. This is Jooseyboy. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, not a lot, my friend. Interesting show. And, I mean, very, very interesting. The fact that it was in Montreal, I think, definitely gave this whole thing a different flavor from the usual WWE pay-per-view. That's before saying anything else about it. It definitely... These pay-per-views in other countries always have their own unique sort of vibe to them that make them feel different.
Yeah. Like the one in Wales. And but the fans are, because they're so hungry for something, you know, like you can tell that their enthusiasm shines through as the shows wear on. So yes, it was a different situation, exciting situation. So let's crack on with it, bro. The very first match, of course, it has to be an Elimination Chamber match because, you know, can't have them too close to one another. It is the ladies' Elimination Chamber match. And the winner of this faces Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. So it featured Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross, Natalya Neidhart, Carmella, Liv Morgan, and Asuka. What were your thoughts on the opening matchup here, Jooseyboy?
Okay, well, I'll run through them here. I thought that this match was a very good effort. I thought that it entertained me more than the previous year's Women's Elimination Chamber. I liked the fact that it wasn't a championship match. It was to determine a number one contendership. That makes things interesting. And it's a nice way to have an alternative to the Women's Royal Rumble winner because the women's division still has two separate championships. The match itself was pretty good. I'd give it a C+. I thought that everyone really brought the aggression and the fire in their performances. I thought, once again, Liv Morgan had a bit of a standout performance, but I'm going to shout out Asuka. I think that she's severely, underappreciated at times. I mean, she's just tremendous. Nikki Cross did tremendously in this. There was a lot of great character work from the women, in just the sense of everyone in this match seems to know who their character is, and they carry themselves that way throughout the match. It is an elite level women's division, even if the booking doesn't always do the performers any favors. I thought this was pretty good overall, but what I wanted to sort of highlight in my discussion of this particular match was, they've got to stop doing two of these matches at an event when they do these shows. They just have to. It's not about favoring the men's division over the women's division or the women's division over the men's division. It's just that it's the nature of the beast that if you do two of these stipulation matches, one of them is going to lack the same level of excitement and spontaneity and spark that the other one has, because you're doing two of them in one show. I mean, I'm obviously oversimplifying it to hell, but you know what I'm talking about here. Like, yes, they opened with the first chamber, and then they waited until quite a bit later in the show to put the second one on. The fact remains, they did two chamber matches, and it means that both of the matches were somewhat diminished. It's exactly the same thing that we were talking about with the Royal Rumble, but that's no fault to the performers.
No, I get you, bro. It's like when we were talking about War Games. Mm-hmm. We had to have two War Games matches. And I said, how about, because it's a Survivor Series. 1 year, the ladies do a traditional Survivor Series match, and then the guys get to do the War Games and then switch it over the next year. I think I wrote this down later on for the men's one because I was groaning. I was like, like why am I groaning that there's an Elimination Chamber match happening? I shouldn't be. The reason why I am is because I just saw one like an hour prior. It's just one per time, I think. 1 year do the men, the following year do the ladies. I just think I agree. Having 2 in one show is too much, brother. But anyway, so here's my thoughts on the match. This was difficult for me to write my notes here, Juicy Boy, because I was working. I was at work. So anytime there was some downtime, I was watching the show. So first night, I got a couple of negatives here. I did not like Raquel Rodriguez walking out smiling, beaming, this massive smile. I'm like, she's a badass. She's a big woman. She should be portrayed as a badass, a serious badass. She shouldn't be smiling like that. I know someone told her, when you go out there, make sure you smile. You're about to be in an Elimination Chamber match. It's a very serious situation. I think people need to cut out the smiling. Like, I understand someone like maybe like a Liv Morgan. Okay, it's kind of like about her. It's like a character to be like kind of cute or whatever. Raquel Rodriguez isn't cute, all right? She's a tough woman. Thank you. That being said, the Elimination Chamber still looks like a toy. And, that's always got it working against it these days. But, it is what it is. One thing, you were talking about the ladies in this match. They know their characters. One character I cannot stand is Nikki Cross. I just don't believe her as a crazy person. It comes across annoying to me. That's just me. What do you think, bro?
I wouldn't say that I'm annoyed by it. I also wouldn't say that I believe that that's who she really is. But I like the fact that she at least jumps into it and tries to do it. Maybe it's not, but I think with some elements tweaked, it could work better. If she takes this and then starts to spin more of herself back into it, then she'll hit where she needs to be. But yeah, there does need to be a bit more authenticity in the portrayal. Fuck off. Yeah. It's my phone telling me it's time to take me tablet. I took them before we came on the air.
You're like a fucking old man, mate. But yeah, like when Victoria portrayed a crazy girl or Daphne, I believed it. But with Nikki, I do not. Just saying. And E for effort. I know she's trying, but sometimes trying isn't good enough for me, apparently. Okay. One thing that was also irritating to me was every single person that came out for their entrance. Why does everyone have to go up to each chamber and have a stare down? This is why we can't have more matches on the pay-per-view, because they're wasting time with this. I don't know why everyone had to do it. Not only in the women's match, but the men's match. We get it. It's a chamber match. Okay, yeah. We get it. Another note on Liv Morgan's entrance. The entrance screen is going to give somebody a seizure.
Yes.
But also Liv Morgan's jean shorts nearly gave me a seizure. Thank you. I'm sure you noticed this, bro. I wish Corey Graves would shut the fuck up about Carmella being as... We get it! Shut up! It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Highlight of the match. Sunset flip bomb by Liv off the top of the chamber. Did she hit it on Raquel? Yeah, Raquel. That was great. But I think it should have led to an elimination or something like that because it was just too spectacular. But that's just me. I haven't written anything positive here, except for that. They did good. There was a little bit of drama in this, but I did not like the fact that it went down to Asuka versus Carmella because I thought that made it a foregone conclusion. Like we knew Carmella wasn't going to face Bianca at WrestleMania.
I think it'll be a good match between Asuka and Bianca, though. I think
it will,
yeah.
but I think it should have come down to Raquel versus Asuka because it seemed for me it would seem like it's potential there for Raquel to get the win, but I didn't believe Carmella for a second was going to win, so they gave away the result. Just like with the Rumble, with the final two in both matches, you know who was going to win that. Anyway, I think they need to look at that kind of stuff a little bit more. Anyway, let's move forward, bro. The next matchup, Brock Lesnar taking on Bobby Lashley. Again, I didn't get to write many notes because of my situation today. But clearly this match was booked this way to prolong it one more time before Mania, because this match should be on WrestleMania. And I'm looking forward to seeing the ultimate match between the two of them, because I really want the Lesnar matches we get to veer away from this same formula. Sometimes he does, but then other times it's just like a trade-off of finishes and kicking out after a few minutes of chaos to start the match. And it just seems like this is always the formula for these matches that he's been having. It happened a lot with Goldberg, it happened a lot with Reigns. I want a little bit more. I want a bit more creativity with what they put together for these matches, but hopefully we get that kind of match at WrestleMania. It just seems like a little bit same sometimes. That's all I've really got to say. It was good, but it served its purpose. Juicy Boy, your turn.
Yeah, I'd give it a C plus. My brother Nick echoed your sentiment in feeling like he wants more than just the exchange of finishes. I was telling him I think that we're finally going to get the longer form match between them at Mania. This feels like if not a territories program, then a program that you would have seen in the 1980s when pay-per-views were fewer. And it's kind of, they've had the 3 matches. This one at Elimination Chamber was the rubber match. It was pretty stock standard, but when it finished the way that it did, I knew immediately that, okay, this is really more of an angle than a match. This whole thing has been an angle. And that made sense. I think the Montreal crowd was not happy, though. I think as soon as that finish occurred, they knew we've been passed over for the people in Los Angeles, even though this is a big show. They knew that this match had been booked that way to continue on, and I don't think, because Montreal, I think they're a bit of a smart crowd, and I don't think that they were happy to see that. But I personally thought that it served its purpose really tremendously. It is the dose of old school testosterone-fueled professional wrestling with a Hollywood veneer attached to it, a kind of a contemporary look attached to it as well. And yeah, I think it served its purpose, but I agree with you. I think we're going to see the real match at WrestleMania. I think this was more of a teaser to get people to, buy WrestleMania.
Yeah. Did you give it a rating, bro?
Yeah, I gave it a C plus. I said
okay,
that
cool.
At the beginning.
Also, I'd like to give props to referee Chad Patton. I loved how he copped that fucking beating.
Yeah, I popped for that as well. That got the crowd back into it.
It did. I think it was a smart move, right? To lay out the ref, because everyone was pissed off, but seeing the ref get laid out kind of made him feel better about it. Because everyone loves seeing the ref get laid out.
Yeah, I popped really hard when he copped the first F5, and for some reason the second one made me laugh even more. I don't know. There was just something about it that just tickled me. But yeah, I think that chaos after the match kind of was done that way as well to swing the crowd back around. But it's also one thing we have to mention quickly before we move on here. We can't. It's so refreshing. Brock Lesnar has been it'll be 11 years this year, as of WrestleMania, since Brock has been back in the WWE. And this is really, I'm pretty sure this is just about the only program where Brock has been sort of the underdog or fighting from underneath for, a great portion of this feud. And it's very refreshing. And it does a great deal to, protect Bobby Lashley as well, who is there week to week and has to, work week to week and stay over.
Yeah, very good, bro. I have a sneaking suspicion perhaps the Hurt Business might start getting involved in this soon. I was thinking maybe they were going to make the save here and do a little angle there, but maybe they're saving it because they've been hinting at that for a while. Anyway, moving forward, I don't know if this was in this part of the show. I just wanted to mention it and see what your thoughts were on it. I really love the fact that Michael Cole owned Tony Khan.
Yeah, I popped for it.
What did you think? Were you happy about that? Because I thought it was great.
You know what? The whole show, even though I'm not a huge fan of Corey Graves, it needs to be said once again. It's so much better just letting the commentators fucking do the commentary themselves without someone in the headset. That's not me taking a shot at Vince or anything like that. People that like to crap on Vince McMahon for doing that, Vince came up, the WWFE came up in a time when that was important. Now, the way that communication technology and stuff has evolved, everyone's on social media. It's okay to be much more kind of loosened up, which it was back in the day as well. Back in the 50s and 60s, the commentator would often be a lot more off the cuff. And I think we're seeing kind of a return to that, but it's once again, it's reflective of the culture that we live in, where everyone is in on the joke, and things are getting memed and things do get dunked on, and everyone is seeing everything all the time. So why pretend certain things aren't the way that they are? And it may seem like I'm making a bit of a big point out of that little joke there, but I think that little joke, that little moment of enjoyment that we got out of that moment there is, a result of loosening up a little bit and kind of getting with the times a little bit as far as the commentary.
Yeah, I just love it when sometimes there's a shot fired. Someone stirs a little bit of shit from one company to another. As long as it's not like forced. I thought it was really cool. And it, serves you right, Tony, for tweeting like a absolute 8-year-old girl.
Like a baby.
Like a child. You're the owner of a wrestling company. You're in charge of millions and millions of dollars.
Oh my God!
And you're being such a bitch about things.
Like, bro. People with families work for you. Like, people with mortgages depend on your companies that are run by your family's money to survive. And this is the way that you conduct yourself out in public. It's just ridiculous. Can you imagine Rupert Murdoch in his early 40s lashing out at a news company that didn't allow him to acquire them or something like that? And, oh, fuck you, and talking to him like they're on the playground. He'd never, not that I'm a fan of Rupert Murdoch, but that's an example of a rich mogul and how Tony Khan is in a bad way. He doesn't seem to operate with any kind of class or respect for the fact that there's more than just him as the individual.
Yeah.
And, when he says something, that's millions of people look at that. It's can potentially affect a lot of different lives, and a lot of money is at stake.
Honestly, I think he acts like a spoiled little fucking brat.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's embarrassing.
It is. It's and by the way, cool way to create yet another reason why non-fans would think that wrestling is nerdy and stuff, because you're the CEO of the would you see? Yes, you do sometimes see crazy owners and stuff of professional sports teams that'll go a little bit off the rails. But you definitely wouldn't see the NFL as an organization or the head of the NFL uh, publicly take a shot at fucking ESPN because of some unfavorable interview, because you know that person would probably have better things to do with their time, like I don't know, actually run the company or whatever. Whatever. It's fine.
We'll get off this in a second, but it's real fucking rich of him to go on about a biased journalism when he's got Meltzer and Alvarez and all of those guys in his fucking back pocket saying how great everything is, even though they can't build their audience up because the shows are boring as shit. Sorry, AEW fans. Sorry.
You know, I mean, like, bottom line before we move on from it, it's once again WWE is the hotter company currently, even though AEW is the much younger company. Have fun with your 745,000 viewers.
They must laugh. They must honestly laugh at him.
I'm not sure. I
love that Nick Khan and sorry, I'll get off it and say I love that Nick Khan kept he seems like a nice kid. so condescending.
like he's 41 years old. Like he's literally.
It's like when Jesse Ventura always calls Vince McMahon Jr. Like, you know, he's doing it just to be condescending. Like, you know, Vince would hate it.
You know, like there's this real primal part of Vince that just wants to take a knife and stick it in between Jesse's ribs. Like,
well, you know, when I was working for Junior down there. Oh, great stuff. Okay, let's move forward.
All right.
Okay, we get to, I guess, the feud-ending matchup here between Edge and Beth Phoenix taking on the Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Bro, take it away. What did you think of this mixed tag team matchup?
Look, I thought that this actually was really good. I think it was really well booked. I'm going to give it a B-. Once again, I continue to really enjoy this feud. Yeah, I do. I have a bit of the water that I just sipped on went down the wrong pipe. Yeah. Like, so I'm dealing with that right now.
I just want to pipe you.
I just want to pipe you.
Inside joke, sorry everyone.
No, so anyways, I think that the women were the highlight of this match. I think that they were positioned that way, and I think they absolutely delivered. I think everything that they did was tremendous. Edge, for his part, he's older now. He still looks great. He's like an older version of Edge, you know, in a good way. No, I know, but it's like the actual look. It's like the right way for an older wrestler to look.
Yeah, fair enough.
He looks the right way.
Yeah.
Finn Balor as well. I didn't see as much from him as I wanted to. I felt like they kind of made Finn a bit of an afterthought, perhaps accidentally, in this match, because Finn has really been, you know, showing me something lately, and I wanted to see that continue. And I still enjoyed what he did here. I think that him and Edge may not have like the greatest chemistry in the world. I think it's pretty decent. I reckon back in the day when, you know, Edge was wrestling weekly on TV and the back, it's sort of in the early to mid 2000s, I think the matches would have a lot more intensity against an opponent like Finn Balor, but I don't necessarily think that Edge can go up that gear, athletically speaking, anymore. And I think instead he's gone more down the Shawn Michaels route of focusing more on storytelling, and, you know, as well as continuing to keep in the best shape that he can as far as just his physique and, you know, just moving around in the ring. So I do definitely see this most recent run of Edge's in that same Shawn Michaels light. And I think that worked tremendously in this match. Everything was just put together really well. It was laid out really well. The pacing was really good. It's similar to what I've been saying over the past couple of reviews about the Judgment Day and Edge and Beth Phoenix in this whole situation. I really think, though, that both sides need to start moving on to something else. I'm not sure about the decision to have Edge and Beth Phoenix win cleanly here at Elimination Chamber, because I was under the impression that this was going all the way to WrestleMania, And it seems like we got quite a definitive ending to the program here, at least that makes sense to me logically. Yet, how there's hardly enough time to build something substantial for these either side of this match in time for WrestleMania. But you think Edge definitely deserves, a decent match on WrestleMania, and the Judgment Day, the members of that faction, they all deserve something better as well. So now I'm left wondering what they're going to do with that. But the match itself in a vacuum, really enjoyed it quite a bit.
Very good, bro. So yeah, I hope the feud's over too. It's been a while. I thought the clash with Beth and Rhea was excellent. And look, I know maybe they needed to end the feud here, but how great would have it been for Rhea to pin Beth Phoenix clean to build her strong for the WrestleMania match with Charlotte? I mean, honestly, yeah. I do Beth versus Rhea in the main event of whatever brand they're on, and get Rhea a nice big win over a Hall of Famer. Like, come on, like I think we got a taste of something great there, and I'd like to get a full course of those two against one another. There was a moment in the match where Beth powerbombed Finn and Rhea powerbombed Edge, and 5 years ago, Rhea Ripley wasn't in the WWE. That must have been such a what's the word I'm looking for? A surreal moment in her life. She just powerbombed Edge like 10 years ago. He was retired and she wasn't even on the roster. Like, I don't know. I just thought to myself as she was powerbombing him, she must be thinking like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, Edge needs someone fresh to work with for Mania as far as I'm concerned. There was a hint that he's going to challenge the US champion Austin Theory at WrestleMania. So we will see.
That could be a good match. That could actually be a good match. So
but another thing, just to keep harping on the fact that I don't agree with the fact that a pay-per-view this long only has 5 matches. Yes, I know the Elimination Chamber match is long. I'm aware. But I don't agree with the IC title once again not being defended on this long-ass pay-per-view. Why can't we get Gunther on the show to defend the title against Drew McIntyre or something? Give Gunther a big win, establish him. Now he's like in that echelon with the McIntyres and all that. Have Imperium help him get the victory so it helps them, Why is he not defending the belt here on a pay-per-view? And again, he did so good in the Rumble.
When's the last time the tag titles have been defended? Like that. I mean, not they obviously probably have been defended relatively recently, but when's the last time you saw him in sort of an important match?
All I'm asking for is eight matches, 7 or 8 matches.
You know what? I could live with the 5 matches if the shows were cut down and a lot of the bullshit in the middle was gone, because that's the shit that I fast forward through. I want to say something as well, because I might forget about it otherwise before we move on. The commentators at one point, I think might have been after the Bobby versus Brock match, they said, we're going to take a look at a commercial for WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. I've heard that they've been filming these. It's got Seth Rollins copying like the Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker movie. And then Becky Lynch shows up doing like a shitty impersonation of the Christian Bale Batman, and it's a really annoying exchange. Like, okay. I wish that someone in WWE was actually watching our reviews just so that you could have heard me in the Royal Rumble review say that the Applebee's ad fucking sucked. Okay? I'm sure that Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are fine human beings, right? They have a child together. They're engaged to be married, if not already married. They're in love with each other. Fabulous. They have no chemistry on screen as far as fictional performances. There's just no chemistry there. It's not working. This wasn't funny. It wasn't welcome. It didn't fit either. If you're going to do an ad for WrestleMania and you want people to actually want to buy a ticket and go there, especially fucking getting a hotel and all that kind of shit in downtown Los Angeles at that time of year, okay, this is not the way to entice them to do it. I mean, what were they? Did you watch the ad? Or did you fast forward through it?
No, I fast forwarded.
Okay,
through
you would have to actually look at it to kind of understand how lame it was, right? Think about how lame the Applebee's commercial was in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and then now they're trying to to satirize this Joker movie, which, by the way, has already been out for a couple of years now and is sort of not the en vogue film of the day. So it's
WWE just aren't funny anymore. They don't know how to be funny. Like, remember when they did the Hollywood skits years ago? Was it WrestleMania 23? You have Kurt Angle and Christy Hemme doing When Harry Met Sally. You got all these, like, you know,
and
Eddie
like,
Guerrero and Booker T doing Pulp Fiction, man. Like, that's fucking amazing.
And they did a bunch of them back then. But the thing is, even though those had their charm and everything, even back then, there was a sense of, these movies are like 10, 12 years old in some cases. You know?
They were the classic scenes, you know?
I understand that, but what I'm getting at is there was a sense of it not being necessarily the most recent films that would have been in people's minds at that time.
That's okay. You could be wrong this time, bro.
No, it's fine. Like, I get what you're saying. They definitely were the classic movies, because I love When Harry Met Sally. Like, I love Braveheart. You know, Pulp Fiction. Wow. Forrest Gump. What a picture. Anyway, in this case with the fucking...
Basic Instinct.
Yep. Fucking Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch. Like, no. And then she finishes it off by saying, I'm going back into the man cave. And then Seth Rollins is like, I didn't know we had a man cave. Ha ha ha.
That's not funny as shit.
Like, it's fuck off. Fuck off.
Oh.
Fucking make me want to fucking strangle, okay?
Let's move forward.
Bro. I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right, we've got the men's elimination chamber match next, which once again, as I said, I was groaning about, but I'll tell you what, this was pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking at it prior, I was in a shit mood because I was like, why is the US title? Like, okay, it's nice actually that the US title
I liked it. I like that.
Given this opportunity to seem important. At least maybe the IC title being on the show being good too. But, you know, okay, that's nice. But at first I was like, Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Theory, Montez Ford, and Seth Rollins. I just thought to myself, they just threw a bunch of guys in here. Mm-hmm. But I tell you what, these guys fucking nailed it, man. Whoever booked, like, whoever went through like this match with them, whatever agent or agents went through how to go about this match. This match made Bronson look like a monster. Even when he got eliminated, it was still the way that he got eliminated was like 4 finishes, hit one after another. He wasn't going to win, so he had to figure out a way to beat him. So that was great. I groaned with Johnny Gargano came out, but to be perfectly honest with you, the guy was great. He did a fantastic job out there.
And I had the same feeling, yeah. I groaned, and then the crowd sort of cheered him, and I was like, well, fuck me then.
Okay. Damian Priest, again, extremely impressive. Okay. Like, this is a guy that's been built pretty strong. They protected him with the way that he was eliminated. Montez Ford, a tag team guy. They actually had me believing at one stage there that he was going to win the belt here, because I thought maybe this is Montez's time to get that singles push or something like that. And then the way he was eliminated was great. And then, of course, that leads into the story that the door's open for a little bit too long. Here comes Logan Paul to fuck with Rollins. Excellent story-driven stuff. It's the only way that we could get Austin Theory out of this thing alive. Very well put together. Props to every single person in this match. The only complaints I have, I'm sick of the fans with the chanting of the Rollins theme song. That's almost on the, not quite, but almost on the level of the Jungle Boy. And Jericho's Judas. Like, how many years in a row do we have to hear that shit? But anyway, again, enough about AEW. I really loved the part where Theory was getting the shit beaten out of him by, I think, Rollins and Gargano inside of the pod. Just getting wailed on, like, it was on the level of disgusting. And you have 17,000 people like enjoying the moment. This guy's getting like brutalized, and he can't do anything about it. And it was like, yeah, that's sick. Montez Ford, I have to say this, he's very talented. He's clearly got a bright future. I don't watch the weekly TV. I know I saw him do this when they Street Profits were against the Usos last year. Can he please stop doing the suck it? He does it too much in the match. I don't know why he does it. I'm sure there's a reason. And then he went to do a people's elbow. And I'm like, stop emulating people. Stop. Just be you. You don't need to copy anyone. I don't know why he does it. I hate it. But the match was fun. Montez, that spot off the roof of the chamber was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, you can only see something like that in WWE, you know? And then, of course, Seth getting a Hurricane Rana from Gargano onto the group of people. Look, both times there just happened to be a group of people there. But in this instance, it didn't bother me so much because the spots were so spectacular. I didn't really care about the fact that somehow they all congregated in one spot. I actually thought Montez should have won. I thought this would have been a really a good moment for him to be put up there, but maybe they're just not ready for that yet. And that's it. That's all I've got to say. Good match, good stuff. Your thoughts, Juicy Boy?
Yeah, agreed. I think also Austin Theory lifting Bronson Reed up was impressive too. The thing is here, the talent executed in those big moments. This was a really, really good Elimination Chamber match. Probably my favorite one that I've seen since about maybe be a couple of years now since I've seen one that I've thought was really good. This was, although I liked last year's match, but this blew that out of the water. Here's the thing. The fact that it was for the United States Championship did not diminish the big fight feel of this Elimination Chamber match. It enhanced the prestige of the United States Championship. And it being a mid-card championship means that anyone in this match actually was viable as a winner and prevented it from being a foregone conclusion. I thought that it looked like a very physical match, even though they have the new version of the chamber, which doesn't have that same menace to it or that same brutality to it. People often complain that, you just want the talents to get hurt. No, not really. Not at all. I don't want the talents to get hurt, but I do notice, okay, you want to put those foam rubber mats over the on the sides, on the actual floor pieces of the. Yeah, why don't you just make foam rubber 3D prints of grating and use that shit? They do it all the time in all kinds of everything, right? Just use the hard 3D printing rubber, just fucking make rubber grates if that's what it takes, and it'll still look just the same. It just won't hurt as much. It's a visual thing. But in any case, they did well enough in this match to make me look past it. I'm giving it an A-. I thought it was that good. I like the fact that they didn't start eliminating people until quite later in the match. It was all 6 guys for quite a long time. It was Bedlam. I think that's been something that's been missing from these matches for a while. I think every single person got their opportunities to shine. I loved fucking Damian Priest absolutely leveling Montez Ford with that clothesline on the outside grate at one point. It looked it really brutal. And just, I don't know. I really thought this is what an Elimination Chamber match is supposed to be. It felt like they're moving around to different parts of the structure. They're using different parts of the structure. They're keeping everyone engaged. It was logical who eliminated who and so forth. Only negative I'm going to point out that stops it from being an A+ is stupid bullshit like Gargano and Seth Rollins both ending up sitting on the pod and then acting like they're just chilling there and stuff like that. And then Seth Rollins suddenly chopping him and starting to punch him. Fuck that. It's stupid. If I saw that happen in AEW, I would call them out on something like that. So it's going to be exactly the same here. That was stupid. That's the kind of shit I don't want to see. And it's the kind of thing that you can't blame Vince McMahon or nowadays Triple H for, because it's exactly the kind of shit that that generation of indie wrestlers love doing. It was all about this postmodern, oh, look, we're kind of both in on the fact that it's a performance. Hey, let's take it all in. Get fucked. That very nearly could have destroyed the suspension of disbelief for this match if they had have spent too much longer on that moment. Yeah. Other than that, though, incredible match.
Very good, bro. Almost at the end here, but there was one other note that I needed to throw out there. And I'm not just saying this just because I've got you on the show here with me, but honestly, by this point in the show, I can't stand Corey Graves any longer.
Mm.
They need to mix the color commentator on these long shows. Like, okay, keep Michael Cole there. He can handle it. But let's get Wade in. Then Corey can come in. Then go back to Wade. Then Corey, etc. By this point, I couldn't fucking stand his voice any longer. I'm so sick of him fucking yelling into the fucking microphone. Shut the fuck up. I can't stand it, man. Like, sometimes I don't really notice him that much, but that's because they're kind of going between teams. But when it's just him and Cole, fucking hell.
Man, I've even heard a few isolated moments here and there where I've chuckled at things that he's said. The problem is he's just not suited to be kind of the voice of WWE. They're positioning him at the moment to kind of be the successor to Michael Cole as far as tenured commentators. Byron Saxton's still there as well. Byron Saxton could be boring as fuck, but at least he wasn't annoying as fuck. And Corey Graves, it's not just because we personally we don't really like him. We sort of think he is a dickhead in real life, but that doesn't mean that somebody can't be a good performer in wrestling. This role isn't working for him. I think the talents that he has with his speaking abilities, it's not that he's fucking awful, but he'd be much more suited to being a manager or some sort of analyst role where he's not commentating through these entire shows, because after about one or two matches, you feel like he's used up the material. Like, take snarky comments at the baby faces and then pretend that the heels have done nothing wrong when they blatantly have, and you're blatantly rewriting reality. Like, newsflash, when Bobby Heenan did it, it was funny because the way that not just funny, but it was credible because the way that he did it was from a background as a legendary heel wrestler and manager who great heels in their own mind, really do believe that they're the good guys in the story. Yeah. And that is the perspective that people like Bobby the Brain, like Gorilla Monsoon, Larry Zbyszko, and others who are known for Taz, who are known for being great analysts. That's what they bring to the table. I don't believe when Corey Graves sort of cheerleads for the heels that he believes that they're actually in the right. It just feels like he's just doing a bit. It feels disingenuous, inauthentic. And the most annoying thing about it, before we wrap up, is it seems like he thinks he's really fantastic at it as well. And honestly, I'm not saying it as a joke, you need to have confidence to do that kind of job, but it really feels to me like he already thinks he's got it down pat. He's fantastic at this point. He's not. He's probably more bearable than he was when he first started, but that's not saying a ton.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Another rant over. Let's get to our main event of the evening. And I meant ranters, and we both went for a rant.
Yeah.
We've had a few. Sami Zayn. Finally, the story is culminating with this clash between him and the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. Juicy Boy, the floor is yours, because Binge was being annoying because because it's on binge over here now. We don't have the WWE Network anymore. I don't know what it's like for you all on Peacock over there, but it kept on pausing like for a quarter of a second every 10 seconds while I was watching. I couldn't stand it any longer, so I had to start watching it on my phone because for whatever reason, watching it on the TV, it kept on doing that. So I didn't write any notes, but I'll try and throw some shit together once you're done, Juicy Boy. Go.
Well, look, I mean, honestly, this match is getting an A+. It delivered in every way that I thought that it would. The crowd went absolutely bonkers. They added a lot to this match. I thought that they did a great job of using Sami Zayn's wife in the audience here and there for camera shots, and she obviously knows what the score is. And, you know, she probably knew that they'd be putting the camera on her from time to time. It seems like Sami Zayn probably told her that, but it also came across like she was genuinely feeling these emotions that we saw as this match went on. I loved the moment where Sami took control of Roman and then finally gave his wife a kiss after, you know, the previous 10 minutes of Roman kind of like really berating Sami and making eye contact with Sami's wife. Great storytelling, old school wrestling, you know.
The kiss got a pop from the audience.
But it was also this moment where you could feel the electricity in his body, where he's like, man, this is the biggest match of my life. I'm in my hometown. This is the woman that I'm married to. She's getting involved in this huge moment in my career. It felt like a very genuine, spontaneous thing that they didn't book as part of what they were going to do in the storytelling. It just seemed like something that he did naturally, and that made it all the more impactful. The wrestling itself, I thought that it was tremendous. I feel like this was the perfect balance of storytelling and in-ring action for me. I liked the fact that the famous tornado DDT, where he dives through the turnbuckles and delivers the DDT, got countered by Roman Reigns, and that he didn't try to do it again later on in the match. He tried it once, it got countered once, they never went back to it again. Stuff like that makes matches feel authentic to me. You don't need to get every single thing in your arsenal into every single match for it to be meaningful. I thought that they didn't go out of their way to sort of make this a really brutal, gory kind of a fight. It had more of a, like, I don't know, I can't even quite put my finger on the flavor that I feel about it. It's sort of, it gives, it's a more personal version of what I like. I
Spit
feel,
it out.
hang on, man. Hang on. Let me just formulate.
You keep
my
going back to
seriously.
the beginning, going like it's like
yeah.
Just say it.
No. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper at WrestleMania, right? I don't know why, but this match gave me some vibes of that, and it was because it had this feeling of Roman Reigns, even though he hasn't been wrestling in the ring as long as Sami Zayn, he's been a big top star in the WWE for longer than Sami Zayn, and it really felt like this is Sami's first big opportunity in this kind of situation, but Roman's been here many times before, and yet he was also taking Sami Zayn more seriously than he perhaps has other pay-per-view opponents in his title reign, because there's this personal issue with Sami having betrayed him as the head of the bloodline. But there was this undercurrent of Roman Reigns not really taking Sami Zayn seriously as a threat throughout it, as if the character of Roman Reigns looked at this match as an opportunity to humiliate Sami Zayn and punish him for his betrayal, but didn't really take him as a serious threat until we get to sort of the last third of the match. I think I enjoyed the finish. I think that the crowd was definitely disappointed. It seemed like a lot of them really thought that he was going to win, and they really weren't happy. My brother also thought that they maybe should have gone with Sami as the winner, at the end of it. That's how strong this story has affected people. I liked the finish. I'm not sure how I feel about Kevin Owens coming out at the end and doing his little bit. I'm not sure it was necessary, to be completely honest with you. I think that they could have done without the whole bit with the Usos and Kevin Owens. But I want to wait and hear what you think of that part of it. Overall, though, A+ for the match. Exactly what I wanted it to be. I think that Sami Zayn is a future championship contender for the WWE and a future world championship holder. They've minted him as a star over these last 2 pay-per-views.
Very good, bro. So you said this got an A+, right? Are you forgetting something else? Something else?
What would I be forgetting?
When you point in the air and you give it a Juicy Boy recommendation?
Oh, yeah, man. Fuck. It feels like I haven't done a Juicy Boy recommendation in forever. This one's got a Juicy Boy recommendation. Go out of your way to check it out, because I can't put it into justice, even though I never stop talking. So go and watch it yourself.
Dude, you didn't do the point in the air the way you usually do it on like that 45-degree angle. No,
because it's off camera. Okay.
Yeah, okay. You did it, but you didn't say Juicy Boy recommendation.
All right, it's a Juicy Boy recommendation. Just do your part. Get to your part.
No,
like
you've ruined the whole review now. I wanted that Juicy Boy recommendation. And,
well, it is a Juicy Boy recommendation. Go out of your way to check it out if you haven't seen it, but you've seen it.
I have seen it. Why would I want to check it out again?
Why do you need the recommendation?
I don't need the recommendation. Our fans need the recommendation. Like, they probably already watched the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would they watch the review without watching the show?
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, anyway. So yeah, I didn't really get a chance to write many notes, unfortunately, but did have that nice big fight feel. It's nice that it was in Montreal. The Canadian crowd give you what you're looking for when it comes to something like this. And when someone like Sami Zayn has home court advantage and a Canadian is in the match, it just brings up that energy level from the audience. I feel bad for the audience. They really were hoping Sami was going to get the win here, but like that would cut the legs out from Cody pretty badly. Because what are they going to do after that? You know, Reigns has this massive title reign, and then like, what's Cody's? You know, what's his plight going to be at that point? So you know, you got to think of these things.
And even if he won it, bro, good point. Like, what then is Cody going to then beat it off Sami straight away in his first title?
You can't do Sami versus Cody. They're both baby faces. You
Yeah,
can't do that. Like, then what are you going to do with Roman? No, you can't do it. I'm
No,
sorry.
it just doesn't work.
But anyway, so yeah, the home court advantage was cool, and I liked how early on in the match it was really like getting on Reigns' nerves, and it was like distracting him how strong the crowd felt for Sami. I did like the implementation of Jimmy Uso coming out, messing Sami Zayn's shit up, and then exiting, and then when Roman's about to do what he's going to do to Sami, out comes Jay and he stands in front of Sami, and you still have that seedling of doubt. You don't know which way Jay's going to go. So I'm interested to see where that goes, because I can't figure it out. And it's nice for once to feel like I can't tell where something's going, unlike some wrestling angles and stories where you know where the destination's going to be at the end of it, because it's that some people don't know how to book in a way where things remain exciting and you're not sure what's going to happen next. You know, like on TV shows that you don't get really invested in, like The Sopranos or Breaking Bad. Like,
yeah,
when you get to the end of the episode, you're like, oh my god, I got to find out what happens next. Like,
this storyline feels like that. This storyline feels like that in a way that a wrestling storyline hasn't felt like it in territory days.
Yeah, you're wondering, you're waiting to find out, oh God, what's going to happen next? So yes, I liked all of those shenanigans. I wasn't too sure about the Kevin Owens thing either. I'm sure they probably just wanted to do the thing where they send the people home happy.
It didn't.
I don't want to see Owens going out there fucking dropping stunners on people. I can't stand it, man.
I don't
Do the
even mind
pop-up
him
powerbomb.
using.
It's a great finish.
I don't mind him using the stunner. I enjoyed it when I would have been happier with it if he'd have just done the pop-up powerbomb through the announce table, to be honest.
Yeah. But anyway, great main event.
Mhm.
Thought this was a very good show. Juicy Boy, we now need to get to your final rating out of 10 for Elimination Chamber 2023, brother.
Well, I gave it an A+ and an A-, so that automatically means it's got to be pretty high up there, especially on a match with only on a card with only
for the show,
5 matches.
The final rating of the show.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
An A+ is not
No, I said that I said that I gave one match an A+ and another an A-, so it automatically means that the overall rating is going to be much higher. You dipshit.
So tell me what the number is.
I'm about to, but you keep interrupting.
No,
you
you're
dumb
not.
cunt.
You keep rambling about this A+ bullshit. I want a number out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8 based on the fact that it was 2 A's, 1 B, and 2 C's. Okay?
God, we're gonna follow the whole yellow brick road to fucking find out what your fucking number out of 10 is. This whole winding road with this whole adventure to get there. And then when you finally get there, you realize that whole adventure was shit.
It's all just a road to nowhere.
I've had 3 hours sleep and I did a 12-hour shift at work. So I'm in a weird mood. I'm tired. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. 1/2 less than you did, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No reason. Just I think there should be more matches on the show. I think they need to quicken things up between matches. I don't think everyone's entrance should take 10 minutes. And,
Yeah, agree.
That's always going to be a complaint on every show until they change those things. But they probably won't, so oh well.
And the fucking CGI graphics in the entrances as well. Do away with them. Get rid of them. I thought they would be gone when Triple H took over, but
Kevin
they're not
Dunn
gone.
would be fired by now.
They're shit. They're shit. Stop doing them. Okay? That's it.
Hate
That's it. We've finished the review.
We're done.
Thank you
We're
very much. We're very glad that you enjoyed it. We'll see you down the road. Bye-bye. Let us know what you thought about Elimination Chamber. Stop with the fucking CGI graphics. Okay? Stop. Goodbye. Thank you.
We'll see you down the road, everyone. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.